Alright, so today I'll be doing chapter 18, subsection 10, or 18.10. And if you aren't in our school or not following in a subsequent chemistry book, I'll be doing the effects of radiation, specifically on the human body. Now, radiation is the transfer of nuclear energy, and this transfer of nuclear energy is particularly dangerous to the human body because it introduces new energy that can break down our chemical bonds and damage our cell system. Now, a large perpetrator of the field of trying to kill us is our very own happy, sunshiny Mr. Sun. This dude right here. So now, Mr. Sun, or just as our sun, is a star, as many of you know. And like all stars, the sun is a nuclear reactor which is constantly shedding off nuclear energy. And this is the reason why there's so much debate about the ozone. So the ozone effectively keeps out any dangerous UV lights that bad guy Mr. Sun gives off. Let's just add a cigarette in there because he's a bad boy. So he gives off high energy UV radiation, which is constantly bombarding our poor little Earth. Luckily though, our Earth put on some sunblock, so he has an extra ozone layer to help block that out. And that is really helpful for us because if we were exposed to this without any kind of protection whatsoever, the sun would be bombarding us with constant solar flares and UV light to the point where we would pretty much crisp and die. Talk about skin cancer and all kinds of things like that. I'll get more into that later though. So radiation is classified as somatic. For those of you wanting to know how to spell it, and genetic. So now, somatic is like, let's say, nuclear bomb go off, kinda, you know. So this would be somatic. This is direct damage to the human body. So somatic radiation will cause sickness. It will also cause death. And the infamous cancer, as we all like to throw around. Now, genetic is more of that freaky hills have eyes crap, you know? This is going to be attacking specifically reproductive cells. And this will definitely damage your offspring. So if you see people, or you've probably heard about people who have multiple body parts, multiple arms, legs, eyes, cats that are born with no eyes, especially now in Japan because of the Fukushima plant disaster, and also Chernobyl, Ukraine. A lot of it is genetic damage. These specifically affect, like I said, the reproduction cells, and so a sperm of a male can have some kind of genetic defect. So now, the effects of radiation depend on 4 major factors. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 1 is the energy of it. So the energy of the radiation being given off. The penetration ability. So penetration, now this has to do with alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma particles, which I'll get into later. The third is also the ionization ability, so ionization. And the fourth major factor is the chemical property of what's giving off the radiation, so the chemical. So all of these, like I said, are the 4 major factors, and how much damage the radiation will do to you. Energy, so higher energy the radiation, the more it's going to affect the human body. Penetration is the deeper it's going to get. So skin deep will cause skin cancer, blotches, sunburns, and tans. So obviously destruction of the pigmentation of the human skin. Ionization is going to cause other kinds of damage, so penetration and ionization. Anything that has both of these is going to do a lot of damage to the human body. How fast it can ionize will definitely depict how fast it can do damage to the human body. If it ionizes quickly, most of it can't be traceable until it causes something like I mentioned under somatic, which would be cancer. And the chemical that gives it off, obviously everything changes, whether it's thorium, uranium, all these give off different kinds of radiation at different levels of these three. So now we're going to talk about Bad Day Bob. Now this is our friend Bob over here. Now Bob decided that it would be a good idea to experience what radiation can really do himself. So now we have alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma particles. So first of all, these alpha particles are going to attack Bob. So they're going to come over here, but luckily for Bob, alpha particles cannot penetrate even the skin. Now, of course, here come the beta particles. They're going to come over here. Luckily though, Bob's smart enough to throw up a piece of paper last minute. Beta particles can only penetrate 1 centimeter worth of material. So if you have anything thicker than 1 centimeter on, you're good. Which also means that they can go, of course, 1 centimeter deep into your skin. Now, last but not least, Bob wasn't too much of an idiot. He decided to build himself a nice concrete wall here because he knew gamma radiation would be coming. But here's the thing about gamma radiation. It can go through the concrete and straight into your body. Of course, this is the kind of radiation they're going to be seen giving off by nuclear weapons. Same here. Gamma radiation, though, isn't particularly as dangerous as alpha. So gamma does have more penetration ability, but its ionization is relatively low, whereas alpha can ionize very fast, which is why alpha is more likely to cause skin cancers and other skin blemishes, tans, depigmentation, whereas gamma, if it does ionize, can cause organ failure, death, in poor Bob's case, cancers, and all kinds of deep issues. So really, you don't want to be messing with any kind of radiation on this list. And I hope this has been educational for you, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about the effects of radiation, because I sure have, and I've really enjoyed doing this. Thank you all. I hope to be doing this again sometime soon.